The HOA called 911 on me for fishing in my own lake. What they didn't know? That lake and half their neighborhood was legally mine. I bought a quiet piece of land outside town because I wanted peace. No traffic. No neighbors watching my every move. And most importantly, a private lake that came with the property. The listing was clear. The deed was clear. The survey showed the lake sitting squarely on my land. But a few months after I moved in, I noticed something strange. People from the nearby HOA community were walking around the lake like it was public property. Jogging, fishing, letting their dogs run loose. At first, I didn't mind. I figured they didn't know. So one afternoon, I politely put up a small sign. Private property, no trespassing. That's when the trouble started. The very next morning, I get a notice taped to my mailbox. An HOA violation. It said I was fined for restricting community lake access. Community lake? I laughed, until I saw the fine amount. I drove straight to the HOA office and explained calmly that the lake was part of my deeded land. I even offered to show them the paperwork. That's when the HOA president leaned back in her chair and said, "That lake has always belonged to this community." I told her, "Not according to the county." She told me, "Remove the sign or face penalties." So I didn't remove the sign. 2 days later, I was out by the lake, fishing in a folding chair, minding my own business. Then I heard sirens. 2 police cruisers pulled up fast. Lights on, doors open. An officer walked over and asked, "Sir, the HOA called 911. They say you're trespassing and causing a disturbance." I calmly handed him my ID. Then my property deed. The officer studied it for a moment, then called it in. 5 minutes later, his tone changed completely. He looked at me and said, "Sir, this lake is 100% on your property." Then he turned to the HOA president who had shown up smiling and said, "Ma'am, you're the one trespassing." Her face went white. She tried to argue. She claimed old maps. She claimed verbal agreements. None of it mattered. A week later, I hired a property attorney and pulled full county records. Turns out, when the HOA was formed years ago, they never legally owned the lake. They just acted like they did. The final result? The HOA was legally barred from enforcing any rules on my land. Their fines were voided, and they were officially banned from accessing the lake. Now, I fish in peace. The signs stay up, and every time I hear someone say, "The HOA owns that lake,"